Okay, it's 9:15 or a minute after. I'd like to start the meeting. First of all, I'd like, Chris, would you please come up? And we have, okay. Okay, you want to call, okay. All right, I'd like to call to order. Could you take the,
Mr. Moran?
Here.
Mr. Hendon?
Here.
Mrs. Trout?
here?
Ms. Conan? Here. Mr. Ray?
Here.
Mrs. Lamacchia?
Here. Okay, we'd like to, Bill, if you'd like to stand up.
Really?
I'd like to present you with this resolution for your 20 years on the board. It may have seemed longer or shorter, but there you are, and I shall read it. William J. Moran was first appointed to the board on May 15, 1996 by the Board of the County Commissioners of Hamilton County, and whereas William J. Moran served as president of the board in 2000, 2006, 2011, and 2013, and as vice president in 1999, 2005, 2000, 2010, and whereas William J. Moran received the Trustee Award of Achievement from the Ohio Library Council for distinguished service and innovative leadership in October 2011, and served on the Ohio Library Council Board of Directors from January 1st, 2013 through December 31st, 2015. And whereas William J. Moran chaired two successful library levy campaigns in 2009 and 2013, and I will add, very successfully and terrific. Whereas, as a member of the Board of Trustees, William J. Moran works to help make the Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County one of the largest, busiest, and best public libraries in the country, with tremendous growth over 20 years, including increases of 49% in circulation and more than 50% in the number of cardholders. And whereas during his tenure on the board, the library received the 2013 National Medal for Museum and Library Science from the Institute of Museum and Library Services, as well as 3 consecutive 5-star ratings from the Library Journal, one of only 5 libraries nationwide in the $30 million expenditure category to receive this distinction. And whereas William J. Moran helped see the library through the opening of the North Building and the renovation of the South Building at Main, as well as the main library for the 21st Century Plan, and new construction and renovation projects at 15 branch libraries, including renovations and expansions of the Corryville, Anderson, Avondale, Delhi, Northside, Norwood, Pleasant Ridge, and Westwood branch libraries, and new construction at the Coverdale, Groesbeck, Harrison, Bot Hill, Clifton, Reading, and the St. Bernard branch libraries. And whereas William J. Moran is an avid reader, lover of literature, and an outspoken, enthusiastic advocate for the library, its services, and employees. And whereas through his continued interest, not only in the library, but also working in the region, William J. Moran has helped improve the quality of library service in our community. Now therefore be it resolved in recognition of his 20 years of continued service to the Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County, the members of the Boards of Trustees commend William J. Moran. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be spread upon the minutes of the Board of the Trustees of the Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County.
Thank you.
Congratulations and thank you for all.
Thank you so much. You know, just a couple highlights of 20 years on the board. Probably the biggest one was going to the White House to be part of the ceremony to receive the award for the National Medal for the Museum and Library Services. That was really a highlight. Plus the 2 levy campaigns, everybody worked on those. Great success. Thanks for everybody. And the opening of the Clifton Library.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Can I say, I just wanted to say to Bill, as a younger board member, when I first came on, one of the things that it's kind of daunting to be on a board like this, and you were always the kind of person, you, Mr. Lindbergh, that you, as a young guy, I would look and say, well, what that guy said. So I just really appreciate what you've meant to me and probably others on the board in terms of modeling our behaviors to be good board members. So I just wanted to share that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you again, Bill.
I think we need a formal motion to
All right, do I hear a motion to accept the resolution?
So move.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? I'll have you leave the room if you did that. All right, we now have public comment. We have a number of people who want to comment. We are going to limit you to 3 minutes. We will tell you 30 seconds before your 3 minutes are up if you are running over. The first one is Don Wade. Please come here to the microphone is there.
Hello, my name is Don Wade. I am a library service assistant at the Madeira branch. I am requesting a meeting with the Board of Trustees to discuss the new compensation scale that was initiated on May 10th, 2016. This is a very sensitive matter, and I'd prefer to talk privately with the board. The new pay scale does not follow the guidelines as listed in the Human Resources Guideline as being fair, equitable, and motivational. I have spoken with senior leadership team, and they are unwilling to address the problem. Okay? I would like the opportunity to meet with all of you and explain in detail the situation that many of our staff members face. Thank you for considering this request. I will meet with you anytime at your convenience, and you may call me at the number listed in the letter that I gave to each of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can
Yeah.
I suggest that maybe we set up a meeting of the Human Resources Committee and allow Mr. Wade to address the committee and then invite whatever board members might wish to come to that.
Okay. Good idea. Okay, the next speaker signing in is it Sally Wright? Callie Wright? Callie. That's an A.
Sorry, I'm a lefty.
That's okay, that's fine.
Good morning. I am here to implore you to add transgender inclusive benefits to your health care. Any social issue, I make an effort to view through a lens first of compassion and second of scientific skepticism. When I was struggling with my identity, the first thing I did is I said, what does the science say? What does the medical opinion say? And I found that that plurality of opinion is that affirms the reality of transgender identities. And not only that, but affirms the necessity, the absolute medical necessity of transition-related health care. I'm going to list a couple of organizations that I'm sure you will all recognize. The American Medical Association, the American Psychiatric Association, the American Academy of Family Physicians, the National Association of Social Workers, the American Public Health Association, the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists. These are all organizations that affirm the necessity and the efficacy of transition-related care for those who need it. There are multiple studies building a mountain of evidence showing the medical necessity and the efficacy of this care. And not only that, but the business case as well. Employees who feel safe and affirmed and supported at work are not only happier in their personal lives, but they're more productive. Thank you.
Thank you. The next one is Jamie Thompson.
Hi, I'm Jamie Thompson, and I'm a teen librarian at Teen Spot. Most weekdays during the school year, Aaron, Aries, and their friends can be found at one of our high tops. I'm sorry, I'm a little emotional. In our department. Every once in a while, Aaron will bring us donuts. He says he does this because his mother was a children's librarian, and he does it to honor her memory. Aries is a frequent program attendee and a brilliant artist. When our teens in our department were recently surveyed about their experiences in our department, they said that one of the reasons they continue to come to the library is because of their relationships with the staff. They also said that they feel the library is a safe space for them and that we accept their gender identities. I'm sorry. Aaron and Aries are but two of the library patrons that I have named who are transgender. We have many more. At the Teen After Hours event recently in March, 3 teens who said that they frequent the Montford Heights branch told me that they identify as agender and that their pronouns are they and them. While we were playing, they said that I was the first adult to ever accept and acknowledge their pronouns. I could pretend that I've always been this open and accepting about trans identity, but that would be a lie. In 2001, when I was only 22 years old, I became a foster parent to 15-year-old Alex. Alex had recently dropped out of high school because he said he didn't feel that he fit in there. He'd recently been thrown out of his house because his mother had found letters between him and his girlfriend and assumed that he was a lesbian. She said that if he didn't go to conversion therapy, that he couldn't live there. I met Alex at Affirmations, Detroit's LGBTQ resource center. I became his guardian 6 months after meeting him. Soon after coming to live with me, Alex came out as transgender. Although Alex wasn't the first transgendered person I'd known, he was the first person who I'd known before he transitioned and throughout his transition. It was rocky going sometimes, and there was definitely a learning curve, which I feel like we're going through right here at the library, but Alex is still one of my best friends. When Alex turned 18,
30 seconds.
he moved to Chicago because he could get better health care there. It's hard for me to be here today because our community's in a state of mourning, but I think that it would be important, it's not just important, it's necessary to support our trans staff workers and patrons to vote on this and a vote affirmative, accept trans inclusive healthcare. Thank you.
Thank you. Raya Schweitzer, okay. Okay.
Thank you.
HEW, okay.
Oh, hi, I'm Raya Schweitzer. I didn't actually plan to speak here today, but I thought I could share a couple things. I first started to transition when I was 14, and that's almost 40 years ago now. I had to think about that this morning, and I'd like to think I was fairly productive since then. My first big job was to build a library for PLCH. Did the Bridgetown Regional Library. Beautiful place. I think that was before even Mr. Moran's time there. Bob Stone Street, maybe. So I've had a life since then. I can tell you that since starting my transition about a year ago, my life's gotten a lot better. I enjoy living it now. And, you know, you discount the years it would have taken to do a transition and the actual effect on a career, and I'd say that could have made about 30 years of my work life better. If it's better for me, it's better for my employer. That would be a significant increase in my work life, my employer's receipt of what I'm building. That's significant. I'd like to make the case that trans inclusion makes good sense business-wise. It's not just the right thing to do societally for your people, it just makes good business sense. And y'all know what it takes to retain good people. So I'd make just a mathematical case that you ought to do it anyway. You add the societal thing, and I'm not going to get into the horrendous crap that happened this weekend, but Jamie mentioned that this library was a safe and supportive space, and y'all could take the leadership on it. I'd love to see you do that. Thanks.
Thank you. Nat Kuchar?
Hello, welcome to the Corryville branch. This is my branch. I work here, and we're happy that you all are here today. I'm a transgender employee of the library, And trans healthcare is important for the same reasons that any healthcare is important, because people need healthcare. This is important for the transgender employees of the library and for the trans spouses and trans children of library employees. And it is also important for the patrons of the library, transgender people living in Cincinnati who use the services of the library. By adding trans healthcare to the library's health insurance, you are saying to trans people in Cincinnati, you are important. The library cares about you. But most importantly, library employees now and in the future need health care. I don't know how else to say it. We need this. Thank you.
Thank you. Nancy Urien.
Good morning. Thank you for allowing me to speak today. I'm here today to urge you to vote to add the affordable insurance rider that will cover the healthcare needs of transgender employees today, before the new insurance contract year takes effect. First, though, I want you to know why I'm here. I love libraries. I am a devoted patron of the Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County, and have been for over 20 years. As a freelancer, I use the library's facilities several times a week as a quiet, accessible workspace. As a historian and a researcher, I use the virtual library, local history resources frequently to help Cincinnatians understand our past. As a member of the LGBTQ community, one of my favorite things about libraries is that they aim to be open, welcoming, and affirming of all people, regardless of race, class, gender, religion, sexual orientation, gender identity, or any other category. I love libraries because I firmly believe that they are for everyone. I love libraries because for me, they have always been a safe space. You can imagine my surprise and heartbreak when I learned that the public library, my library, was denying essential healthcare coverage to transgender employees. This denial is discrimination. Transgender healthcare is necessary healthcare. Through conversations with my transgender friends, I have come to understand that transgender healthcare is an urgent need to allow individuals to live their fullest lives. Sometimes it is even an issue of life or death. The insurance discrimination against your transgender employees is undeniably, unequivocally wrong. I urge you today to affirm the humanity and basic rights of your employees, to do what is right, and to vote in the spirit of libraries. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Alice Connor?
She didn't get to come in because they wouldn't let her in. I wrote her name down because I knew she was coming. She came about 10 minutes late. She's a priest, and they would not let her in. So thanks for that.
Is she out there
You
now?
can continue on. She already left. They wouldn't let her in. So
I don't know who wouldn't let
Who
her
would
in.
let her in?
the white-haired lady, I tried to. She was right there. Whoever the door person is, I don't know if they're still there, would not let her in. So you can handle that with her and apologize to Alice at a later time.
Okay. All right, Rachel, next name on.
So, I have come before you a third time. We simply must stop meeting like this. People will start talking. I suppose if this were a fairy tale, and I the fairy, this would be the vain prince's last opportunity to do a brave and good thing before I used my magic wand to turn them into a frog or a pebble. I don't have a magic wand, though, but I do have a tale for you. Once upon a time, in a land called Cincinnati, there was a young girl named Leela. She was beautiful and talented, but she was trapped in the body of a boy. and she begged her parents for supportive therapy, hormone blockers, girls' clothes, basic human dignity. But her parents were wicked, and they told her she was a boy, and they denied her medicine, and they sent her to fallacious wizards who told her she needed to be cured of her womanhood. Leela's freedom was right around the corner. If she had been able to wait till she was 18, she would have been free of her parents' control, and she could have directed her own life as she saw fit. She could have gotten the health care that she needed. But the poison around her made her desperate, and she could only see impending misery. By 18, she thought it would be too late to fix her body. Things would never get better. She would be cursed inside a boy body forever. So she walked out to the highway in the middle of the night all by herself and stepped in front of a tractor trailer. Now, we'll never see the wonderful woman that she would have become. But maybe it could have been another way. Even in such a poisonous home environment, maybe Leela could have seen the light of hope from the outside world. If only we had shined it brighter or known where she was so we could point it right at her. Maybe if our country supported and celebrated transgender people wholeheartedly, she might have realized that 18 is not too late to transition. Maybe if bigots weren't elevated all the way to governorships on promises of taking away the rights of queer people, of keeping them from marrying and using the bathroom, maybe Leela might have felt safe and secure about her future. Maybe if Leela had seen more employers publicly coming out in support of their transgender employees, she might have seen an achievable path toward medical transition in the not too distant future. Leela was an artist. She worked at Kings Island drawing caricatures.
30 seconds.
Oh, okay, sure. A lot of creative types work for the library. I think the philosophy of libraries cozies up comfortably to the artistic sensibility. And for many creative types who lack professional certification or training, the library is an attainable, entry-level job that is both interesting and usually pays enough to live on. Imagine an alternate path for Leela, if you will, where she became a student shelver, heard that the library was adding trans-inclusive health benefits, knew that if she just graduated high school and was able to get a full-time gig with the library, she wouldn't have to rely on her parents to help pay for transition. Maybe she wouldn't have been so distraught that the highway seemed like a rational solution. That's a lot of maybes, and we have no way of knowing if those maybes would have kept Leela alive. But while there is obviously no direct causal link between the library's ambivalence on transgender rights and the suicide of a queer youth, or the murder of a trans woman of color, or a mass shooting at a gay nightclub, such awful mountains as those are made of tiny, shitty pebbles, like unequal health care and legal employment discrimination and disgusted looks on the bus. They accumulate, sometimes so high that the young kid at the foot of the mountain can't see the sun on the other side.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not done, but if you throw away enough of those shitty pebbles, maybe the mountain becomes a hill, and maybe eventually you crush up the pebbles and turn them into a road that people like Leela can journey along easily to get where they need to be. Please, trustees, kick your pebble off this mountain. It might even cause a landslide. Thank you.
Thank you. Skip Schulte.
Okay.
Sign up to speak.
Oh, he just signed it, that he was coming.
Oh, I thought that was just a sign-in sheet for everybody.
Oh, okay, okay.
Who's the speaker?
Okay, Chris Seelbach.
Oh, it's good to see you. They're regular at our meetings. Thank you all for having us and for allowing me to speak. I do want to mention that, 48 hours ago, 49 members of our community were gunned down and killed by an assault weapon. And another 50 of them are in the hospital. This is a tough community to be in because it seems like we're always on the defensive. And it also doesn't seem like a library board is where the decision of whether or not a doctor can treat Rachel, it doesn't seem like the decision should be made at a library board. I'm asking you two things: to allow Rachel and her doctor to make the decisions that they deem medically necessary for her care. I don't think any of us are medical doctors, and we shouldn't be making those decisions. And two, in the spirit of Cincinnati, which was once maybe the most anti-gay city in the country. And it was not a judge or a politician or a library board, but the voters, the people of Cincinnati in 2004, when things were much different, who sent a clear message that anti-LGBT discrimination is wrong. The voters did that, over 50% of them. And so in that same spirit, I'm asking you to let us go forward. We've come so far. Don't push us back. Don't put another punch in our stomach by saying that Rachel can't get the medically necessary care that she needs. Allow her doctor to decide that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that's all we had on public comments. Now we will come to our action items. The fiscal officer's report, please.
Okay. Public Library Fund update. In 2015, the PLF revenue came in 9% over the 2014 revenue. The 2016 budget reflected an estimate fairly equivalent to the 2015 actual. The first 4 months of 2016 have trended on budget. But in May, there was a 6% negative variance from the estimate, and in June, there was a 16% negative variance. Through June, the variance is approximately $800,000 less than anticipated. The Ohio Department of Taxation has stated that overall state revenues are coming in below estimates, and we are expecting updated estimates for the second half of the year to be downgraded. Once these estimates are available, we will prepare a comprehensive budget review and report any potential impact to the library at the August 2016 meeting. The 2015 audit has been completed by the Auditor of State. There were no findings, adjustments, or management letter comments. A copy of the report was sent to each of the board members on June 3rd. The fiscal office has also completed the comprehensive annual financial report. I have a copy here for anybody who would like one. On May 14th, 2016, there was a break-in at the Walnut Hills branch. 2 iPads valued at $766.08 were taken. Library Operations has reviewed the security in place at the branches and taking corrective action as necessary. The fiscal officer requests a release of personal liability related to the theft of those items. And the contributions, gifts, and donations that were previously reported in the Eva Jane Remain-Coombe Director's Report will now be included in the consent agenda. And I do need a vote.
Move to approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, thank you. Motion carries. Okay, secondly, we will have the Human Resources report.
Okay.
Bill Moran.
Yep. The Human Resources Committee met on June 2nd. In fact, all of the board members were present as well. We discussed the transgender rider extensively, and while we're sympathetic to the desire and even the need for transgender surgery, we're recommending the library do not add any riders to the health insurance policy that we have for a number of reasons. We are stewards for the public. It's not fair to ask the public to pay for the cost of these riders. And since employees pay a certain percentage of the cost of the health plan, it's not fair to ask them to pay for the percentage cost of these riders as well. And it's not just one rider that we're faced with adding. It's a number of riders that we'd be open to have to add to it if any employee requested that we add a rider to the surgery. So the
price of the rider, please. Quarter per paycheck.
I don't have.
I don't have it with me.
I do. It's 25. It'd be about 30 cents.
Actually, that number's incorrect because
That's the one that was stepped out.
Well, I'm sorry, we should not allow the audience to disrupt the meeting.
There's a crime called disturbing a public meeting, so.
Okay,
So if we
Bill.
So the committee unanimously is recommending to the board that we do not add riders to the current policy. The volunteer service policy, the coordination of the volunteers have moved from human resources to marketing under the Community and Government Affairs Coordinator. So we're asking to revise the policy that removes the verbiage of which department is responsible for the coordination. And for information, the OCRC charge, the Ohio Civil Rights Commission charge by Yolanda Wheelwright was dismissed. And also of note, the annual staff and retiree recognition program is scheduled for Sunday, October 30th. And I move to approve the report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? No, motion carries. Okay, Library Operations and the Facilities Committee, that's Mr. Henry.
Get it up here in just a moment. Okay, the Facilities Committee met on June the 2nd. All the board members were in attendance. It was recommended to the committee that the board take the following action. Authorize for public bidding for the 2016 ongoing maintenance project. For that, we need to submit advertisement for bids, and the estimated amounts for the contracts are $3,350,500. That includes roof replacement, HVAC replacement, HVAC controls at multiple locations. Concerning the Loveland lease, approve a 10-year lease for the Loveland branch begins January the 1st, 2017 at $10.53 per square foot with a 2% increase every other year. Also approve the expansion of the Loveland branch, adding an additional 3,100 square feet vacant space adjacent to the branch. Construction costs covered by the owner is estimated to be at $150,000. Request to relocate the Wyoming branch at Hartwell. Decline the request from Ed Shea and the Hartwell Improvement Committee to relocate the Wyoming branch library to 8424 Vine Street in Hartwell. And for information only, the Deer Park branch Board of Education decided not to move forward with any incorporating the Deer Park Library, branch library, into a redesign expansion of the Amity Elementary School. The Vine Street Plaza and entrance, three preliminary options to redesign the main library's Vine Street Plaza and entrance were reviewed. Seating placement of the book fountain and retail options were discussed. It will be communicated to design firm FRCH. The St. Bernard storm sewer work has been completed, and Miami Township property, we've got another available property in Miami Township for a new branch on the west side. And that concludes my report, but I recommend that we
You move that we,
Second.
move this thing.
all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now the Eva Jane Cool Director's Report, please.
Good morning. I have a longer report than usual. This Thursday evening from 6 to 8, the Women of United Way's Tocqueville Society will host a special evening edition of their Spotlight Series for all of their leaders in giving at the main library, and they'll have an opportunity to visit the makerspace and hear from some speakers on STEM. So we expect to have a large turnout and are happy to have them there with us. The Cincinnati Enquirer is marking its 175th anniversary with a year-long childhood literacy initiative. They've asked the library and United Way to join with them in this, and we've reached out to several of our neighboring libraries who are also participating in this initiative with us. There are three things. One's a book drive, attempting to collect 17,500 donated children's books over the remainder of that year, which ends next April. And then also volunteer hours toward childhood literacy activities. So any of our volunteers who work on those types of activities will be tracking their time for this as well. But finally, our big event will be on August 10th. It's a birthday bash on Fountain Square for the Enquirer, and one of the major components of this will be a world record attempt for the largest story time. We couldn't find a current world record for largest story time, but we plan to have a celebrity reader. We'll do Chicka Chicka Boom Boom on Fountain Square. It will be up on the big screen. It will be streamed to other locations. We'll have people all over the community celebrating childhood literacy with this special book. I did attend the MetLib conference in Doha, Qatar in late April, and there were libraries from all over the world presenting at that event. Each afternoon we visited libraries, so I saw several school libraries, a library for special needs children, a university library that was part of Georgetown University, the Faculty of Islamic Studies Library, and the Museum of Islamic Arts Library. our tour of the Cotter National Library, which is still under construction, I believe after 6 or 7 years. It's been a long-term project. Was led by the architect Boone Coolhouse, who, if you know of his work, he's a very noted architect, and so that was fascinating. I brought back lots of ideas, and I've been invited to speak at many other things all over the world. So, and some of them actually paid for by the people inviting me, which is always a nice treat. The ROI report shows the value of public libraries. Fleeter and Associates prepared for the Ohio Library Council a study comparing the services provided and the cost effectiveness of Ohio's public libraries compared to libraries across the country. And so our libraries have the highest transactions per capita, and in doing this report, Fleeter and Associates included reference, circulation, program attendance, and computer sessions at 20.33. The national average is 9.81, so you can see Ohio's libraries are much more heavily used than libraries in other parts of the country. Our libraries is 28 transactions per capita, so we're even above our own state average. The cost per transaction is 41st in the country, so it's great to be top in the country for use and toward the bottom there in cost. And the cost for Ohio is $2.88. The national average is $3.56, and our library's cost per transaction is $2.30. So again, below the state average. And then the final calculation in this report is the return on investment for money spent in public libraries. Statewide Ohioans receive a $5.48 economic value for every $1 invested. For our library, that number is $6.73. So again, much higher than the state number. And I did attach a copy of the report for you, Exhibit 1. We have a couple of people speaking at the Ohio Library Council's annual conference in Sandusky in September. Ella Mulford and Kate Crusham are talking about the makerspace, making your neighborhood, and some of the activities they have done. And then a program that I put together based on the Houston Foresight Studies was called No Surprises, using foresight techniques to anticipate and plan for the future. And the Connect Ed project were both accepted as well. And so I will be requesting approval for reimbursement of my expenses, estimated at $500 less. It's pretty inexpensive to get to Sandusky. And then under the Ohio Revised Codes, libraries can issue bonds or anticipatory notes for building projects and borrow against their state funding distributions from the Public Library Fund. However, we have not been able to include our local property tax levies as part of our revenue. And obviously that reduces how much you can borrow, and that increases the cost of borrowing that because you get a lower bond rating as well. Our library currently has no debt, and I don't know that we ever have, and I don't really anticipate having any, but the Ohio Library Council did draft an amendment, got it added to House Bill 390 that is now awaiting the governor's signature that would let this happen, so you can include all of your revenue and not just your state funding. Last Thursday afternoon, I attended a roundtable with members of the Senate leadership hosted by DSD Advisors. Matt Davis is the president of that and serves on the Library Foundation Board, and he includes us in these events, which is wonderful. I shared information about the bonding legislation just mentioned, and not all of these were able to attend, but the President of the Senate, Keith Faber, Larry Ophoff, the President Pro Tem, and Lou Terhart were all there. So it was great to have a chance to meet with them here in Cincinnati and not in Columbus. Then on May 2nd and 3rd, Elaine and I attended the American Library Association's Legislative Day in Washington. We obviously, as you can see from my report, had a lot of different meetings. We started meeting with a longtime donor, Jill Grisco. They've made numerous contributions for the Madisonville branch. We also joined our colleagues from around the country at the Urban Libraries Council's headquarters, and then we met with staff from the offices of Senator Brown, Portman, and Congressman Schaeffer and Winstrup, and delivered packets to a number of other representatives who did not have someone from their district attending. In mid-May, there was a report on the increase in heroin overdoses at the main library. It included statistics about year-to-date overdoses, and that the number was continuing to rise. The main library, just to give you some context, at 550,000 square feet in size, is one of the largest public buildings downtown. In 2015, we had more than 1.1 million visits. We have 7 security staff members on duty during open hours, with 5 security guards patrolling the building. And in addition, a Cincinnati police officer is in the main library afternoons and evenings. Checks of restrooms in the library are part of their regular patrols. We do not want to have drug overdoses occurring in any library facility, but as a large publicly accessible building with more than 1 million visits each year, it's impossible to completely eliminate this problem, given the pervasive drug use in our community. We will also be participating in United Way's Day of Action that's coming up actually this Saturday from 10 to 2, and it's being held at the Cincinnati Zoo. We'll have a booth with some fun literacy-based activities there, and there is a discounted rate of $7 to go to the zoo that day. We were pleased to host the staff of Senator Rob Portman to a tour of our makerspace. They made buttons, saw the vinyl printer, laser engraver, and a number of other makerspace equipment in action while they were there, and we're very pleased with that. Library Day at the Reds is Sunday, September 4th. This is a great day for us to have Library Day because it's the Labor Day weekend. There'll be the fireworks that evening. We will be able to, at least we've been told throughout a first pitch, so it will really be a library day. We have the giveaway for that day. It's Sunday, so always a family fun day giveaway. And it's a co-branded book light. I don't have one yet to show you, but maybe by August we'll have a sample or two. So, other activities include a pregame parade, the first pitch, and tables in the fan zone. And this is also the date that Cincinnati Bell has donated tickets to the Library Foundation, so library staff can purchase tickets to the game and support the foundation. So it really will be a whole library day at the Reds. The Anderson Township Library Association's annual used book sale at Nagel Middle School was underway at the time of this report. I did get their results just this morning at $31,159. Proceeds from the sale benefit the Anderson and Mount Washington branches. That is a slight decrease from last year's sale. And then the Library Foundation, the new USL soccer team, FC Cincinnati, is donating 20% of all ticket sales to the Library Foundation when the promo code Library16 is used when purchasing tickets. The Friends of the Public Library are also having their book sale, but I don't have results yet. But they did have their annual regular meeting on May 6th. They re-elected 5 members to their board for a term of 2016 to 2019, and 1 board member has resigned. And at that annual meeting, the Friends reported that support of $207,000 in their fiscal year 2016 came to the library. I think I have run out of things to say.
Very much, yes, sir. Andrew, there's no-
Move to
There is
approve.
one.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, carries. Okay, then we have Information Services, Library Operations Service Committee. Mr. Wright?
Yes, we have a few items, and we also have the pleasure of having a speaker. I think is going to speak. Jeff Urien, is he here?
He's right there by Greg.
Hey, Jeff, I think I know you. Jeff began his career at the library in 2012 as a construction manager. He was named interim facility operations manager in July 2013 and was appointed to the position permanently in November of that year. Jeff is a U.S. Army veteran serving from 1980 to 1984. Thank you for your service. In the 43rd Engineer Battalion. After being honorably discharged in 1984, he received his journeyman carpenter certification in the Southwest Ohio District Council of Carpenters and worked as a carpenter and project manager in Greater Cincinnati. Immediately prior to joining the library, Jeff was the construction manager / estimator for JBS Construction, Inc. Jeff is also a graduate of the library's Management Academy. Since his appointment as Facilities Operations Manager, Jeff has led the department in a reorganization, creating a more efficient and responsive facilities team. So with that, I will relinquish the microphone to Jeff if he wants to add a couple of words to that.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I want to thank you for this opportunity to speak to you this morning about facilities operations. I would like to start by giving you just a few numbers about the facilities. We maintain just under 1 million square feet of building space at 41 locations. The main library alone is 550,000 square feet. We maintain 108 air handlers, for which we change approximately 2,750 air filters a year. There are 46 boilers, 8 chillers, and 3 geothermal systems on which we perform regular preventive maintenance. And there are approximately 50,000 light bulbs in the entire system. There are 4 units in facilities operations. Maintenance services consist of 1 team leader and 5 technicians. They are responsible for the overall condition of all buildings. They perform routine preventive maintenance and take care of any work orders entered by staff. HVAC services. They consist of 1 team leader and 4 technicians. They are responsible for maintaining and performing preventive maintenance on all HVAC equipment and any related work orders. Custodial services consists of 1 team leader and 4 full-time and 1 part-time custodians. The custodial staff maintains all non-public areas at the main library, such as workrooms and stack areas. Construction management is our 4th unit. We have a construction manager on staff that manages both large and small projects. Over the last few years, we've managed the energy retrofit, the Avondale ADA, the main library south roof replacement projects, and the Clifton renovation. We are also very involved in the management of the St. Bernard and Reading projects. What we're working on this year, while the previous projects I mentioned were going on, we worked together information for the 2016 ongoing maintenance projects that you voted to put the bid ad today. Thank you. This includes also HVAC replacement and equipment at several branches in the main library. We've also worked over the last 4 or 5 months designing the expansion for Loveland. This will be starting very soon. In the next few weeks, we will be switching to a computerized maintenance management system. We spent the last several months loading the system with information. This system will aid us in keeping better track of all preventive maintenance, work orders, and asset inventory. Overall, our goals are to be much more proactive than reactive in the maintaining of the facilities. Thank you. Can I answer any questions?
I just want to say I have a newfound respect for your job. I've been involved in the last 90 days in a couple of personal real estate transactions, and I've been the maintenance guy for a cabin, and I've taken innumerable trips to Home Depot and Lowe's and Gugon and steel toe boots. It is a lot of work. Is there anything that we can do to make your job easier or better? Or
Well, I would like to say we need a lot more money in people, but besides that, I think we're doing pretty good.
I could be a journeyman now. I think I've
need you.
learned. I may have to show up and help out. Anybody else got any other questions?
Yeah, Jeff, if you're going to an automated system today, how are work orders placed today?
So they're using a system called Alteris now that we share with computer services.
Okay.
The new system, though, will let us put much more information and keep better track. So,
Anybody else? Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. So I think I'll skip over the facilities maintenance and project underway report he kind of covered, so I think it would be redundant to do it again. So I'm going to move on to the next item, which is the Pleasant Ridge branch manager was accepted to a ALA Leadership Institute. Kate Dinier, forgive me if I mispronounce it. Pleasant Ridge branch manager has been accepted to the American Library Association's Leadership Institute. Is Kate here by chance?
No, she's
Okay.
not.
The 2016 Leadership Institute will focus on leading to the future and is a 4-day immersive, that's a nice word, leadership program happening in Ithaca, Illinois. Ithaca. Kate was selected to participate among applicants from across the country. The Institute helps future library leaders develop and practice their leadership skills in areas critical to the future of the libraries they lead. RFID project complete. After tagging over 2.1 million items for circulation, the modification of self-checked machines and installation of new security gates at Maine, the library's convergence to RFID is complete. Customers and staff report significant benefits from RFID, and this essentially allows you to track where things are, essentially electronically, because it hits a little button, and that's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Cincinnati Museum Center, items to be displayed at the library. The library is partnering with the Cincinnati Museum Center in the, quote, Curate My Community initiative during the museum's multi-year renovation. A 20-foot Allosaurus skeleton will be placed on the second floor bridge, and a 12-foot taxidermied polar bear will be located in the atrium near the elevators. Smaller exhibits will be placed at branch locations in the late 2016. It is anticipated that these displays will continue until late 2018, early 2019, when the renovation to the museum should be complete.
So we're putting these up to scare our younger patrons?
I think so. There's something
We were
going
the
on.
envy of everyone for getting the polar bear, I will just tell you.
This will be a magnet.
Customer self-check-in pilot project at Loveland. In response to requests from customers, a pilot project for a customer self-check-in process was implemented on June 1 at the Loveland branch. Customers who choose to do so will have the option to scan in items that are being returned using the same self-service devices currently available for customer checkout. Upcoming programs and exhibits, there's an author visit June 18th at 6 p.m. The main library will host Jim Obergefell and Debbie Sinzipper, authors of Love Wins, the lovers and lawyers who fought the landmark case for marriage equality. Love Wins is the story of those behind the groundbreaking Supreme Court case that led to the legalization of same-sex marriage. Also mentioned at the April meeting at 2 p.m. on the same day as this presentation, the main library will host award-winning author Jacqueline Woodson. Ms. Woodson won the 2014 National Book Award for her New York Times best-selling memoir, Brown Girl Dreaming. Writing workshop. Jeff Hillier, the library's foundation's writer-in-residence, will host a series of writers' workshops at the main library on June 25th, July 30th, and September 24th at 1 p.m. Topics include self-publishing, writing short stories, and a writing memoir. Also, the library is partnering with Xavier University Library to host teen writing camps at the Sharonville and Coreyville branches. Mr. Hillier will serve as one of the instructors as well as faculty, students, and alumni from Xavier University. The workshops will be held at the Sharonville branch July 11th to 15th from 1 to 4, and Coreyville branch from 1 until August 1 through 5 from 1 until 4. Veterans Coming Home Project. As part of the library's leadership in partnership with CET and their Veterans Coming Home Project, the library will host a Veterans Town Hall meeting at the main library on the evening of July the 19th. CET will show footage from interviews with veterans, and a panel of experts will discuss issues related to post-9/11 veterans. Cincinnati Pop's performance on July 23rd at 2 p.m. The Cincinnati Pop's Pop-Tet will perform a selection of soul and R&B in honor of Aretha Franklin's Cincinnati's Pop's debut. CSO violinist Joanne Witch will perform at a set of experimental music during the popular library's monthly experimental music series on July 28th at 7 p.m. A couple more. 17th Annual Bookworks 17 exhibit. Cincinnati Book Arts Society will hold Bookworks 17, its 17th annual exhibit of tradition and contemporary handmade books in the atrium of the main library from June the 14th to September the 4th. There will be artist walkthroughs and bookmaking demonstrations on the following Sundays, June 19th, July 17th, and August 21st at 2 p.m. And finally, the Thinking Money exhibit, something we always do a lot of. The library is one of 50 sites selected to host Thinking Money, a new traveling exhibit designed to teach young people and their families about money in a way that is not only understandable, but fun. The 1,000 square foot exhibition will be on display at the library for a 6-week period, May the 17th through June 24, 2017. The library will also receive a $1,000 programming allowance. And I think that's it for me. I will move that it be accepted.
We don't need any
I don't think I have any voting
It's just
items.
for
Yeah, just informational. It's a lot of information.
All right, next we have the consent agenda items. Do I hear a motion to accept them?
So moved.
And do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
And I don't have to abstain on.
You have to, I was waiting for that.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
And the next meeting will be on August 9th at 9:15 at the main library. And then we will go on to
The foundation.
the meeting. What do we know here? Okay, and
Call this to order.
Big one? Yeah, so you want to call?
Yes.
This is the meeting of the member of the Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County Foundation.
Okay, Mr. Moran?
Here.
Mr. Hendon?
Here.
Mrs. Terrell?
Here.
Ms. Conan? Here. Mr. Wright?
Here.
Mrs. Lamont?
Here. Okay, do I hear a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting that were held December 8th, 2015?
So move.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. There are two candidates who have indicated that they would be willing to be elected as a director of the Library Foundation. John Lomax, he's an anchor of Good Morning America on WKRC. Good Morning Cincinnati. What did I say?
America, you gave your microphone.
Got him promoted.
Yeah.
And Greg Rhodes, the team historian for the Cincinnati Reds. And do I just hear a motion to accept them?
Motion to accept both.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries, and motion to adjourn?
Before we adjourn, should we have maybe council look into the relationship between the library board and the foundation, much like the Parks Board is looking at that as well?
Yes, we have already started that, but ours is quite a different setup.
Okay. Okay. Move to approve.
Okay, in favor? Okay, and we'll see everybody in August. Everybody have a good time for the summer.